Hey guys, J77 here doing a movie review. A little bit late. Well, I'm kidding. I'm way late with this movie, but there was a legitimate reason. I wasn't going to see this movie in 3D. It took me a long time to find theater, one theater in the entire 5 boroughs that was playing this movie in 2D. And even then, they was trying to get me to see this movie in 3D, and I wasn't going to see this movie in 3D. And from what I've been seeing, I'm kind of glad I didn't see this movie in 3D. Not because I think the movie's bad, but because it's a waste of damn time. And I'm talking about Man in Black 3. This film did not need to be in 3D at all. It would have worked fine just by itself. And I wasn't going to spend $17 to see this movie in 3D. Was it worth seeing as a matinee film? Yes, it was. I actually enjoyed this movie a lot more than what I expected. And that's pretty much because I didn't have high expectations. The trailer did not pump me up enough to say, yeah, I can't wait to see Agent J and Agent K go spring back into action. No, I saw it for what it's worth. I said, okay, it definitely looked like they're changing it up a bit. And that was pretty much it. But my expectation and my feeling for going in this movie, I wasn't really that thrilled, and that's one of the reasons why when I realized that most of the theaters in New York was only playing it in 3D, I said, okay, I'm going to see if I can find one in 2D, find out what the time they're playing in 2D, because they don't have all the 2D screenings at the same time, and just watch the film. I think what I liked about the film is the story was a lot stronger than the second one. The problem with the second one was nothing really new to the story. In fact, it was a weaker story with a weaker premise. The characters were less interesting than the first film. How they came across the ending just didn't make any sense. Which led to probably the weaker ending that I actually come to remember in motion picture. The second film, really, honestly, is forgettable. You see the film, you probably see some good moments, but that's it. They're just moments, and after then, it's right erasing your head. Unlike MIB, I was thrilled to see it again and again. MIB 2, not so much. I mean, I saw it and that was it. Then. I actually had more fun with the music video, which everybody seemed to trash a lot more than it deserves, because I know the video is cheesy, but it's for kids. What are you gonna do? Than the movie itself. In this one, I can safely say that I was really interested in the story. The new characters really was a big plus for this film. I liked the way they actually introduced some of the new characters. Didn't care about the villain. I will say that the villain, which everybody makes fun of being the Macho Man, I really did not care about this villain too much. But he wasn't the weaker one. I say that he's the second one out of the whole 3 films. He's like the second one that is decent. The first one is always awesome. I will say that. But he was there, but he really wasn't there. How can I say this politely? He was there as part of the device, but I never really found him menacing or threatening. Okay, so he shot this creature thing that shot spikes into people, killing them. I guess that's alright. He thinks he's untouchable. Okay, but other than that, I didn't really. He just was there to move the story along. That's it. Josh Brolin was the man. I ain't gonna lie. Josh Brolin really was the strongest point of this movie. He really played Kay very, very good. At the same time, he gave us something new to the character that people can appreciate and respect. I will say this: the fact that, and this is something I also noticed, when a film goes on throughout most of the film, because you see in the first act, you see the usual tag team with Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith. You see how they go along, and then Tommy Lee Jones disappears. He's not seen to the very end of the film after that. Yes, you all know there's a time travel film, and the villain went back in time to kill Kay in order to stop him from taking his arm and stop this shield from getting into his hands. So he was erased through time, and only Will Smith, by coincidence of chocolate milk, was able to remember who he was. And that was pretty much the premise of him going back in time, because you see these monsters who were supposed to be extinct. Something happened in between that got wiped out, and he was supposed to be the last of his kind. They got extinct. Well, somehow, because K was killed off during that time period of 1969, the monsters decided to pick that very moment to invade Earth. So the only way to stop them from invading Earth is to he go back in time, and he did it through time travel when he got from this guy who owns a TV shop, electronics shop, and that's how he was able to achieve time travel. He had to go jumped off the Empire State Building, but that's how he was able to achieve time travel, and that's honestly where the movies really do pick up, because when you have Agent J and Agent K in the screen. Not that their screen time was bad. It actually was pretty good, but it was nothing really new either. Nothing really changed in their headquarters. It's still the plain white headquarters that we have. Really, there was really nothing to their relationship that we already know. They're arguing, bickering. You know how K is. You know how J is. There's really nothing that I can sink my teeth into, other than the fact that the pacing surprisingly went really well. I didn't really notice the pacing slowing down. I really went. It moved along quite nicely, right straight to the second act. And of course, as you all know, with K has this dark secret he doesn't want Jay to know about, and he basically tries his best to keep him from, finding out what the secret is. Especially after he found out the criminal he put away for the rest of his life had escaped the moon. Don't know why they decided to put him in space like that. Let alone other continuity problems that I have with the film, but I'll get to that in a minute. He knows that there's something linked to his past. He's not telling what it is. He's not trying to he's actually pushing Jay away, and Jay's not feeling that. He's trying to find out stuff. And even O, who, by the way, is the new boss of MI6, and in case there's no secret here, I'm not spoiling anything, but if I am, I do apologize. Zed is gone in this movie. He died off screen. They gave one of the most funniest eulogies I've ever seen, with Tommy Lee Jones saying probably the most unsensitive cold speech I ever heard of. It just makes no sense. But this is K, and he says it, and that was it. And then we introduced to O, which is the new head of did I say MI? No, I'm sorry, MIB. My fault with that. And she's introduced in the most unusual way, but I'll just leave it at that. So pretty much a lot of stuff's being established. You pretty much know there's a secret that he doesn't know that Jay doesn't know why he's keeping from him. And I think it was evident that it was something to do with when he called him, which is unusual, and that's when he's expecting to wait for the alien to bust through the door, but he gets totally erased, and time has been pretty much been altered. Once Will Smith goes back in time to 1969, it's where honestly the movie truly starts to really move along more strongly than the beginning act. And that's largely, it allows Will Smith to be cheesy in a way that if he would have done it in present time, it would have been utterly ridiculous. But in this time, you can go along with it. You can be down with that, and that's pretty cool. I like the elevator scene where the guy, because it's 1969. There's still racial tension, strong racial tension in that time period, and you see Will Smith trying to look at the newspaper, and the paper guy's moving away. He doesn't want him near him, and he's saying, "What's the day's date? What's the day? What's the time?" and all that stuff. And he's saying, "Why are you acting weird and stuff?" They toned down the racial tension a lot. They only did it twice in this film, and after then it was just the hell with it. They didn't push into that, which I'm kind of glad. You didn't want to, go that strong into it. The two cops pulling him over because he has a suit on, he has a car which he did stole, because he had the car, because they and the suit they assuming that he robbed somebody or stole from somebody. They kept his weapons. Of course, they neutralized themselves. Even though technically there's a bit of a continuity area because he didn't have his glasses on at first, and then when the guys pretty much erased their mind, he's wearing the glasses now, which I don't remember him actually going that fast to put his glasses on. I just think that was something they forgot to add in, or just did a jump cut, but whatever. And he's went to Coney Island. He goes to Coney Island, of course, to track down this killer, to take him out before he takes out Kay. And by mean taking him out, mean kill him. He kills one of the aliens who was working as a freak show in the circus. And just as he's trying to get him, that's when Kay shows up. Josh Brolin's Kay. And that's how they got introduced, because he basically, shocked him unconscious, leading him back to the MIB headquarters. Besides that, they follow the clues, they do the reenactment of where he was supposed to go. I like the way they did I think his name is Hall. I remember as the guy who basically, in the 80s, when Mean Gene was interviewing him, and he just had the most hilarious interview out of all the wrestlers, because all the wrestlers were like, pumped up, they were talking all this trash, and here come this guy, and he just made me laugh, because it was like so out of it. It just drained the whole entire room because of his demeanor. And they did a good job with this guy, God rest his soul. He did a good job betraying how he is and how he actually really was an agent, and it worked fine. It didn't insult the legend of this guy, because I heard he did a lot of good things in his industry, in his profession. They didn't dwell on it. They did what they had to do, and then they moved on. And then we have one of the characters which I actually thought they did a good job with. This character who could actually see through the future, and he has the shield that was he's supposed to give to Josh Brolin. Apparently, the other alien, the one from that future, is trying to get the same as well. So they're trying to protect them, and we got for all sorts of stuff, from them going to Chase Stadium, getting the shield, from him rescuing him from a very interesting car chase. It was very, very enjoyable. The fact that you see the relationship blossoming very well with Will Smith and Brolin, their screen time chemistry was magnificent. I actually thought they were very good. And I say it again, Josh Brolin, for the time he was in there, let me forgot about Tommy Lee Jones. Not to say that's a bad thing, that's actually a good thing, because if he did not perform well, people's going to wonder, was this really worth him being in the screen? And believe me, he was worth it. He was a strong net. The ending theme, it was okay, but it does come with some problems, and again, I got to touch on that as I go down. But it's not one of my best ending scenes I would actually recommend. That's just me, and I'll explain why. Overall, I enjoyed the film. I did enjoy the film. It has some problems, but it was still enjoyable. I was entertained, and that was the most important part of this film. Is it anywhere near one? No. But then again, to be fair and honest, when you look back at one, when you look at that film, did you actually thought they actually had room for a sequel? The answer is really no, because they ended it. To me, they ended it. They had a beginning, it had a middle, it had an end. And what was the end? Tommy Jones retires, goes back to the one he loves. And 2 just basically throw that out the window. And that's why 2 is not the least memorable film. This one, it has its problems, but it's not something that I can actually... I'm not a fanboy that I'm going to be nitpicking every last little bit of those problems up. I was entertained. That was my thing. I was really much entertained, and because of that, and the fact that the performances with the new characters, minus the villain, because the villain was the weakest part of this film. I'm just saying. Most of the characters fit the role fine. I really did enjoy the film. If you want me to go with the bad parts, unfortunately, it's gonna be a little nitpicking. But I gotta give this reasonable thing that I think that a lot of people had a problem with, and I think it has to do with the continuity that pretty much, if not undermine the events that happened in the first Man in Black film. Let's start with O. Um, O is a character that is introduced quick. You pretty much knew from Will Smith's interaction with his new boss that K has some kind of relationship. We didn't know what it was. I didn't want to guess. But when you saw the younger version of O with the long hair, and it's been explained how they met, and how there was some kind of a chemistry relationship, a thing going on with them, I had no problem with that, except there was one problem, except for one thing. In the first film, it was very clear that he still had a strong tie with his fiance, who he left to join MIB. That's pretty much been established very, very quick that he left her to join the agency. Didn't dwell into why he couldn't just tell her and let her join along with it. Didn't explain what was going on, but it was very clear that he left her, but those feelings never died. One of the things about the first film that you see him doing is actually stalking her, where he's looking at her from the TV screen that he has. And in the end, he went back to her. We didn't know who O was. O was never explained in the first film. O was never explained in the second film. So when I seen O in this one, not to say it is not a possibility, but the fact is they just basically, Josh Brolin's character basically it didn't even acknowledge that he had still had feelings for his fiance that he loved to join MIB. And that was a little bit odd. I'm like, they just pretty much erased this character. I know she was not a major part, but it was a very strong vehicle because when he left, he went back to her. And now, it's like, oh, doesn't exist, don't worry about it, it's gone. And I found it a little bit insulting to that character. As much as crazy as it is, I found it a little insulting that they at least did never mention it. Another thing about the thing that got to me is the fact that, and again, spoilers if you still haven't seen this movie, the thing that really bothered me is the fact they try to connect K to Will Smith's character, Jay's father. Again, I should have seen this coming. I didn't. Maybe because I really didn't. It didn't dawn on me because they never really explained K's past. I mean, we knew he was a cop. We knew that he was a police officer who got recruited by K, and he eventually became his partner throughout there. But never before during the old film they actually dove into his parents. They never did it once. This is the one time they mentioned his father. They mentioned his father Watch, and yet when I saw that it was his father who got killed that gave K his personality that we knew from Future Time, I kind of felt that they didn't have to go there. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me, but I felt that was a little bit forced. I never really felt that was necessary to put in there, because it really felt that okay from the very beginning, K was going to watch over him and raise him, and that's how it basically as an honor to his father, which that's what I got from that. Then the fact that you had the kid here, a little boy, showing the watch, that was forced to death. I'm sorry, that was forced. I know it was a sad moment, but it was forced, and I felt they didn't need to do that. I felt they could have gone a different route with that conclusion. Again, maybe this is me. Maybe I'm being a little too harsh on that scene. But again, I just felt that connection they're trying to make, it really didn't make any sense. More so, it didn't make any sense that how K was the only one that was remembered. They trying to say that he was actually there, which I'm not buying at all. They said that because he was neuralized as a young kid, that somehow triggered something in his brain that kept him from forgetting, which I'm not even going to touch on that theory. I really don't have a clue on why he was the only one that actually remembered. I honestly don't. Maybe it's something I missed. Maybe I need to go back and look at that again. But I really didn't understand why he was the only one. No more than the time traveling thing. Because keep in mind, he did kill off, K kill off the future version of the alien. And then at the end, when Josh Brolin had the gun pointed to the other alien, he kills him off. I got news for you. When you do that, there is no reason for Jay to be there. Jay doesn't have a reason because the threat is dead. So basically, it made the time traveling useless because you killed the past villain, which means the future villain did not existed back then, and therefore he didn't go back in time to try and kill K. So everything pretty much was just a waste when you do that. This is just me. Maybe it was an alternate universe like Star Trek sometimes explains, but I just felt they could have handled that part better. It was very sloppy how they dealt with that ending scene. It really was, which took a lot of points. But the one thing I will say, the one thing that always bothered me about seeing this film when I was watching this film, and maybe it's just me, what the hell happened to his old partner? What happened to K's old partner? Damn, I'm the only one that forgot that, K had a partner before Jay came into the picture. I'm just saying, it would have been nice to see his partner there. I understand they wanted to keep it as, Will Smith and Josh Brolin, the young K, helping, catch a future and past criminal, and at the same time save the world. But in the very first film, it was very clear that the reason why Jay became an MIB agent was because K's old partner couldn't do it anymore. He retired, and that forced pretty much K to recruit Jay. I would like to see that character in the scene. I'd like to see him in the film. Even though you wasn't going to use him, at least acknowledge that he's there. When I saw K, I'm like wondering, wait a minute, is he by himself? And before anybody says anything, look, it was already established that his partner was one of the original who saw the landing in that field. He was one of the original agents. So yeah, he was a big important part in the MIB universe, and not acknowledging that he was his original partner, it makes me wonder about if some of the people actually saw the first one before they actually made that scene in the second one. But again, I wanted to see that guy. Just say, oh, look, I'm gonna take this guy with me. You stay here and that stuff, and then be fine. Then I can actually say, okay, they acknowledge him. He's there. That's it. And that was the main thing. Besides the continuity, there's more continuities, but I don't really dove into it. I know that the people talking about the shade thing. Honestly, I didn't care. Let me honest with you, I didn't care. This City Field was built. They probably didn't. This film probably was made a while, way back. The continuity is going to happen, but in that ones that really stuck up like a sore thumb, I don't know. To me, it felt like they was trying to just do a standalone MIB, and I don't have a problem with that. But when you have stuff that people already recognize, people's gonna start asking questions. People was asking questions about his first love, and when you see this Josh Brolin, it's clear he's not acknowledging his first love. Again, I have no problem with that, but it would be nice if they didn't just throw her out in the gutter. It would be nice. They recognize Zed as being the boss of MIB. That's good to know. But they didn't know his K's old partner. I find that kind of weird. The fact that K knew who Jay was before Jay knew who he was, I'm not really buying that a little bit. Again, it's something about that really. I don't know. I guess that they had to put something there, and they put that there. But like I said, the ending, it could have been handled a little bit more better. Mind you, I know that it's when you're dealing with time traveling stuff like this is going to happen. Consistency with stories, especially with the last two films, going to happen. So it's just maybe just me. Just overanalyzing this movie. But in any case, I still enjoyed it. It was fun. It was good. I liked the film. Danny Elfman did a good job with the score. Is it a score that I'm going to run out and get? No, not really, because it's pretty much the same score they had with the first one. So if I want the first one, if I want the classic one, I get the first one. I am not, and I repeat, I am not getting that sound, that theme song that Pitbull did. That is the worst theme song I have ever heard in a long, long time. Um, People complained about the nod your head, the black suit theme song. Hey, at least it stuck with the movie. The movie was not good, but I thought that video, at least that music video, had some qualities that I actually enjoyed. I had fun watching that video. People need to get over the attitude thing that you have to curse everything else. I enjoyed that video. It had a particular target audience. It was for the younger audience. Let them have their fun. I had my fun with that video. Will Smith did a good job with the first and second video. I was hoping against hope the way he did the third Meta MIB. But from what I understand, he's done with music. He's just focusing solely on his movie career, and that's fine. God bless him. But they could have picked a better theme song than this. This theme song pissed me off. Out of all the things I hated about this movie, that is the one I hate it the most. I did not like the way this theme song is, and I was even actually contemplating on doing a review, but I said, you know what, let it go, let somebody else take the helm. And from what I understand, a lot of people have took the helm of this video, and so be it. In all, it's not a theme song that nobody's gonna remember in the next 3 months, so let it go. So that's my feeling on MIB3. It's a good film. It's an entertaining film. If you nitpick the stuff I was nitpicked and more, you're not going to enjoy it because you're just basically looking for anything to rip apart about. But if you sit down with no high hopes and just, have popcorn, have soda, because it is a popcorn film, and sit down and just take in what is going in, you might find yourself actually enjoying what is on the screen. It's not a great film, but it's a good enough film for me to give it 3 stars. It's definitely a step up from what I saw the last time, when that's MIB2. So for that, I give it its props. Now there's been talks about a possibility of MIB4. Tommy Jones and Will Smith have expressed strong interest in doing it. They had a lot of fun doing it. Honestly, I don't see how much they can actually continue the series. I think that everything has been said throughout these 3 films. I don't really think they can actually do anything more about it. It's not like, again, this is one of those movies that, in all honesty, the second one should never have been made, because the first one pretty much closed everything, unless you're going to really reboot it, or just not reboot it, but bring in whole new characters in and continue the series from there. I really don't know if it's wise to do a 4, especially if it's going to take them 8 more years to do it. This was a film that was talked about a few years, 10 years ago of doing, and they said, oh, it's not going to be 2 years, it's not going to be as long as the first one was, which was 7, I believe, but it took longer than his predecessor did. So I'm not too sure if that's the right go to do it. But who knows? They may actually give us the best one yet. So it really all depends on the actors. They seem to enjoy making these films, and that's always a good thing when you have actors who are willing to come back to films like these and give it another go. But for me, I don't know. To me, let me see how this one holds up, how this one stays in my memory, and how I feel about the series as a whole, and that's including the animated series, and see, am I really going to welcome the 4th one open arms? My guess is probably not, but it all depends on how they tell the story in their 4th go round. So 3 stars for this film. Sorry again it took me this long to get this one out, but like I said, I refuse to pay $17 to see a film in 3D. It's not happening. It's just not happening. If it's 12, maybe, but not $17. I'm happy to say I didn't pay $17 to see this film, and you know what? 3D wasn't needed. All right, I'm sorry to say this, guys. 3D does not improve the quality of a movie. The story, the actors, that was improve the quality of a movie. And to me, the acting, the new characters were very, very good. I enjoyed them. The story, I followed. I was intrigued. I was interested in the film. I wanted to see how the film ends, and that's how I judge the film on. Not some 3D crap that I don't really care for. So that's my feeling on that. But overall, 3 stars. I enjoy it. I liked it, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. So, did you guys enjoy MIB3? That's great. Let me know about it. I'd like to know what you're feeling on the film. Did you not? If you didn't enjoy the film, that's great too. Like I said, not everybody's going to enjoy this film. In fact, this movie was pretty mixed with audiences, especially with critics. I think it has a 63% on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's not everybody is embracing the third installment, and that's okay. Just tell me what you didn't like. I'd like to know what your feelings on that, or if you are planning to see it, but just wait on DVD. Let me know about that too. And what's your favorite MIB moment from all 3 of the films? I'd like to know that too. But until then, this is J77 saying take care and be safe.